Give Me Back My Father by Omar Cuellar. It was a night in 1988 in Montpelier, Vermont. I was only 8 years old at the time, and I still vividly remember how the storm roared outside with a fury that seemed determined to tear the roof off our house. Lightning flashes lit up my room like glimpses of an unknown world, and every thunderclap made the windows rattle. I lay in bed with the sheets pulled up to my chin, unable to close my eyes. The fear of lightning had me trapped, as if each bolt were a monster coming for me. My heart pounded so hard I could barely hear the rain hammering against the glass. I couldn't sleep, and my breathing came in short, panicked gasps that betrayed my childish terror. My father came into the room, his tall, reassuring figure framed against the dim light from the hallway. He was wearing an old t-shirt and pajama pants, and his face carried that mixture of exhaustion and love that only a father can have at midnight. He sat on the edge of my bed, and his warm hand rested on my shoulder. "It's okay, Timmy," he said in that deep voice that always made me feel safe. "The lightning isn't going to hurt you. It's just lights in the sky, like stars, but a little noisier." He tried to tell me a story about a knight who tamed storms, but I could hardly pay attention. Every flash made me flinch, and he noticed, gently squeezing my hand to remind me he was there. Suddenly, a strange creaking sound broke through the rhythm of the storm. It wasn't thunder or wind. It was closer, more intimate, as if something was moving inside my room. My father and I both turned toward the closet, whose old wooden door always squeaked when we opened it. The door stood slightly ajar, even though I would have sworn it was closed before I went to bed. A lightning bolt illuminated the room, and for an instant I saw a dark silhouette in the closet doorway. Before I could scream, a man stepped out of the shadows. He said nothing, made no gesture. He simply walked quickly and purposefully toward my father, grabbed his arm, and pulled him toward the closet. The door slammed shut behind them with a sharp bang, and the silence that followed was more terrifying than any thunder. I stayed frozen in bed, staring at the closet door. My child's mind couldn't process what I had just seen. Who was that man? Why did he take my dad? With my heart in my throat, I got up trembling and ran to the closet. I yanked the door open, expecting to find my father, maybe fighting the stranger. But there was nothing. The closet was empty, containing only a few hanging jackets and the smell of old wood. I shouted my father's name, but only the echo of the storm answered me. That night, my world shattered. My father had vanished, and no one, not the police, not the neighbors, could find any trace of him. It was as if the closet had swallowed him whole. The years passed, and with them I learned to grow up without my father. My mother did her best to raise me, but his absence was a wound that never healed. At 35, with a life of my own but still carrying that emptiness, I decided to return to the house where I grew up in Montpelier. My mother still lived there, keeping the house with a quiet, melancholy affection. My old bedroom was no longer mine. It had become a storage space for old furniture, boxes of memories, and accumulated dust. Yet the closet remained exactly the same, like a portal frozen in time. The same jacket still hung there, and the smell of old wood instantly transported me back to that night in 1988. Every year since my father's disappearance, I had developed a ritual. I would go into the closet, close the door, and sit in the darkness. It was my way of searching for him, of keeping him alive. I would sit in silence, eyes closed, begging the universe to give me back my father. I missed him with a pain I couldn't explain. I would have given anything to see him again, to hear his voice, to feel his laughter, I thought. That night, like so many others, I sat on the floor of the closet, surrounded by hanging clothes that felt like ghosts. I closed my eyes and whispered his name, letting tears run down my cheeks. The storm that night, though gentler, seemed like an echo of the one from 1988. Then something changed. First came a distant but unusually clear thunder, as if it were inside the closet with me. Then I heard his voice. It was my father's voice, soft and warm, speaking the way he did when I was a child. "It's okay, Timmy. The lightning isn't going to hurt you." My heart lurched. I wasn't dreaming. It was real. But he wasn't speaking to me, the 35-year-old Timothy. He was speaking to the 8-year-old Timothy, the child I once was. Somehow, the closet had taken me back to that night in 1988. I could hear the storm, the creaking of the house, even my own childish voice answering my father. It was like being trapped inside a living memory. And then something dark took hold of me. A deep, almost unbearable envy consumed me. I hated the 8-year-old Timothy because he had my father. He could talk to him, touch him, laugh with him. Meanwhile, I was locked in a dark, musty-smelling closet with terrible memories and unrelenting pain. I knew that if I stepped out and tried to explain to my father that I was his son from the future, he wouldn't believe me. I would be a stranger, a madman at best. But I couldn't bear the thought of leaving him there, of losing him again. My mind clouded over, and I made a decision I still don't know was right. I decided I would take him back, that I would bring him with me to my life. With my heart pounding like a drum, I carefully opened the closet door. The room was lit by a flash of lightning, and there was my father, sitting on the bed, talking to the little Timothy. I moved silently, like a shadow. I didn't want the child to see me. I didn't want to disturb them more than necessary. I approached my father from behind, and with a quick movement, grabbed his arm. He turned, startled, but had no time to react. I pulled him toward the closet, feeling his resistance, his confusion. I closed the door behind us, and darkness enveloped us both. Now, as I write this, my father is here, in my house. But he is not the same. He is lost, disoriented, trying to understand how he went from 1988 to this strange world. And though I have him by my side, I cannot help feeling that I have broken something irreparable. The 8-year-old Timothy, the child I left behind, will grow up without his father, just as I did. The closet is still there, in the old house in Montpelier, and sometimes I feel it calling me, wanting me to come back. But I'm afraid of what I might find if I open that door again.